talking about the concepts for
Yeah.
the early
Okay.
records.
So when we formed the band, I already had all these concepts written because I wanted to do comics. I didn't want to talk about it for a while, and it's only when Snake joined the band and we had like jammed covers of Motorhead and GBH and Sex Pistols and Raven and anything we could find that we liked, and Dead Kennedys and so on, and so pretty much a mixture of punk and metal. So I mentioned that I had written these concepts that were like post-apocalyptic, and that they were based around a character, Voivod, which was based around a character, Dracula, from Bram Stoker's. It was pretty much a mixture of Dracula, Lord of the Rings, and scientific magazine and studies that I was doing at school and all that. So I was mixing everything together, and my love of heavy metal magazine also was a huge influence. So at first they didn't know what to think about it until I told the story of the Voivod character. At first they were not too sure about the name Voivod. They thought it sounded weird and that people wouldn't know how to write it. They turned out to be true on that. And when I explained the concept about this nuclear vampire, Korgul and Morgoth and all that, they got really excited and agreed to put it into music. So we ended up doing that. This being said, I only did a full-on concept for Damage and Atros. All the other albums were a mixture of Snake's stories and mine, because I knew that he had some things he wanted to talk about that were not related to my concept at all. And after doing Nothing Face, which was sort of the fifth chapter of my concept, we took a step away from the concepts, and because it had become a bit frustrating, I'm sure, for Blackie and Snake. The fact that I was writing most of the lyrical contents and Piggy was writing most of the music, so for Angel Rat it was much more of a band effort. I was not exactly writing the lyrics, but I was sitting down with Snake to write them, and but it's something I don't want to do anymore. It's kind of a part of the reason why the band imploded eventually in the early 90s, and also it's a lot more fun to be in a democratic band, I must say, and the atmosphere is a lot more relaxed. And I did write a full concept after for Phobos, and then another one for the album that was never released that we demoed before splitting in 2001. That's an album that has no name. It's sort of a lost album. It's the final chapter of Voivod, and I want to include it in Diva 2, the Eric Forrest years.
When did you guys name each other?
Very early in the process, because we wanted to sing in English and tour the world. We knew that our French names were very hard to pronounce for anybody English, and we wanted to find shorter names, shorter nicknames. Back then there were a lot of bands who had nicknames like Venom, and they were very influential. And we decided to have shorter nicknames that people could remember easy, and we knew the names were funny in a way, and but it was sort of intentional. One day somebody wrote the Banana Splits of metal because they had, I don't know if you remember the Banana Splits.
Yes.
So there was like Mingo and I don't know, I can't remember the names, but yeah. So I thought it was hilarious when I read that.
Wow, you could introduce yourselves to the Banana Split song. Is there any meaning to the name Away?
They called me Away because by the time we were writing War and Pain, I was going to university in science. Quite often didn't show up for rehearsals because I couldn't keep up with the schedule, studying at university and rehearsing every night. Because I have to point out that Voivod rehearsed every night from 83 to 89. That's how we got to be so technical within such a small amount of time, you know. And also, whenever we take breaks between sets, we were rehearsing in the basement of Snake's father's office. and eventually got kicked out because we were trying our pyros and firemen came. And between sets, I was quite often going to the office upstairs and using the desk to draw. Because of my concepts and drawings, and the fact that I was quite often not there, they called me away. That's why.
That's good. That's great. Is there anybody in art or in music or both that you would like to collaborate with?
Well, in music, probably Peter Hamill from Van der Graaf Generator or Jello Biafra. Jello asked me quite a few times, and we suffered from the logistics of him being on the West Coast and me being on the East Coast.
Geography, yeah.
So it really sucks because I've known Jello since his trial back then with the PMRC.
Oh, right, for Frankenstein.
Yeah. So I had written a letter to him to wish him good luck, and then he wrote me back, and we kept in touch, and now we see each other once in a while, and it's somebody I would really love to work with. As for the art, Baron, who does the art from Amebix, is also in the band.
Right. Did you see any of the Amebix shows?
No, I missed them in Montreal. I was really bummed out. I missed Van der Graaf and I missed Amebix last year because we were out on the road. We were not in Montreal. I was pretty bummed out. And but I always love this art. I know he does more. He builds swords now, and he does and he lives on an island somewhere and he builds sword. I actually did a exhibition recently in Portland with him and Nick Blinko from Rudimentary Penai.
Oh wow!
He's also one of my favorite artists of all time. And these two artists, the two people I would love to collaborate with. So I was just really proud to do an exhibition. It was an outsider exhibition with these two guys.
Mm-hmm. Have you done individual exhibitions, solo?
Yeah, I did, but only in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been offered a lot of exhibitions in Holland and in USA and pretty much everywhere. Italy, Japan. It's something that I will concentrate on in the future. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm just too busy with Voivod right now to think about it. It's quite a lot of work to do an exhibition, I find.
Right.
Yeah.
How old were you when you took the year off to sort of learn to drum better?
I was about 17 or 18, and I had been drumming since I was 13, but I was a bit late compared to Piggy in my apprenticeship, and I knew how to play punk rock and hard rock, but in terms of progressive rock, I was not there yet compared to Piggy.
So you could really hear what needed to be done.
Yeah, I knew what Piggy knew that I was not able to achieve, and Blackie was just starting back then, and so Blackie had it in him, you know. We could tell, but I think that he also needed Piggy to give him a few clues there and there, and a few tips, and he really used it because when I came back a year later, he was also much better, and so was I. I was rehearsing in the garage of my parents' place in the winter with a beanie on and gloves and everything, working hard on learning Yes albums and Gentle Giant music and King Crimson and all that. Also the new wave of British heavy metal. The drumming with Clive Burr from Iron Maiden, the drumming had stepped up a little in hard rock and metal, and I had to keep up with it. And I would say I spent the year 81 and early 82. So I must have been about 18 or 19.
That's amazing. Just dedication.
Oh, we really, really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,